All right. Took me a few minutes to figure out how to even do this on a laptop. I'd never done it on a laptop before. So I'm used to doing everything on my phone, so trying to do something on the computer is a foreign concept to me. All right. So I think I've got this thing started now. All right. So tonight, um, we're going to talk about a few different things. We'll talk about anything you want to talk about, but I'm going to start out with a few different things. Uh, we start, we leave out in the morning for the driving drag. We're going to do the Southeast Street Meet. We're going from it's Shadyside to Aiken to Carolina to Mooresville and back to Shadyside. We're going to be doing the stick shift class. They put out the run order earlier today, and it looks like we'll be running. There's 7 classes. It looks like we'll be running 6th in 3 of them. One of them is we're going to be running 3rd, and one of them it'll be a as you get in there kind of thing. So everybody's seen that the plan for that was originally the Cougar, although, well, the original plan was the Galaxy, running some issues getting it road legal in time. So we switched to the Cougar. The Cougar, we had it ready to go, and the C4, and it decided to lose high gear. So we switched back to the Mustang so we could stay in the stick shift class. Yes, I did get the tires mounted. We have, I want to try out those Nitto 555 R2s and see how they handle. I've heard mixed things about them. I've heard people say that they're not as good as the Mickey Thompsons, and I've heard other people say they are. You just got to get a hot burnout on them. So we'll find out. Now, the real question is how often we're going to get to run. Looking at the weather, it looks like there's going to be a chance of rain a few days, and the way it's worked in the past is you still have to do all the checkpoints, still show up to track, and if you get to run, you get to run. So we're going to do the best we can with that. Yeah, I agree. In my power range, it should be okay. I think that Mustang, I don't remember. I think it's 504 horsepower, maybe 509. It's somewhere right in there. So 500 horsepower. So it should be fine in that range. I don't think I'd put them on the Galaxy, not on the white one. The white one's making a lot more power than that, so I don't think it would run as good on that. But we're going to see. I've heard some different things about them. A lot of people say the Mickey Thompsons move around a lot on the road. I haven't experienced that. I ran Mickey Thompsons on the wagon for drag week in 23 and drove them. I drove the car from here to the start of drag week, and that was like 4 hours, and I didn't have any issues with them. So I don't know what people mean by they say they feel like they move around. They said the Nittos were a little more stable on the road, but I haven't really noticed any difference. Yeah, they ride good. I've been riding around on them for about 2 days now, and they seem to ride really well. The real question then is going to be what's the lifespan on them, or is it going to be something that'll be shot by the end of street meet? I think we'll probably rack somewhere around 1,000 miles, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't know exactly, but somewhere in that ballpark. Uh, but that's coming up, and we're going to see what we can do in the stick class. I think based off of last year's numbers, um, Jim's Fastback Garage, how you doing tonight? I think based off of the numbers they ran last year, I should be able to get in the top five. But like anything, when people show up, they always show up faster than they did the year before. So we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be disappointed. We're going to treat it like a vacation, and we're going to get out there and enjoy the road trip. They're having a couple of stops where they're providing food and stuff for us. So, we'll get a free meal and get to ride some back roads and enjoy some time. This is probably going to be the last actual race I do of the year. We are going to take that Red Galaxy probably in a couple of weeks and do some testing with it to try to get geared up for next season. Well, that's about 2 to 5,000 miles. It all depends on how many burnouts. Yeah. With the smoky burnouts, that's one thing I've heard that some guys saying about the Nittos. They actually do better with a big burnout than they do where some of the radials don't want a big burnout. They say the Nittos do. I do not know. I have not ever ran the Nittos, so I don't know. But we're going to enjoy it. And we're going to see what we can do and have some fun with it. I done a couple of little small things to the Mustang. It should make it run a little better. But again, all this is dependent upon track prep. It's also dependent upon the weather because we don't know what kind of weather is going to be coming in for this. But if you're in the area, all these tracks, you can come in and watch them. So if you're in the area of Shadyside, Aiken, Carolina, Mooresville, any of those tracks, and want to come out and watch the racing, people can come out and watch any of those. It's going to be, I've got the schedule here. It's going to be, so Thursday will be the first day of the actual racing. That will be at Shadyside. Friday, we're going to be at Orangeburg. I keep saying Aiken, but it's Orangeburg. And then there's going to be 2 tracks on Friday. Friday morning, we're going to be at Orangeburg, and Friday evening or afternoon, we're going to be at Carolina. The House of Hook will be there. And then Saturday, we'll be at Mooresville, and Sunday back to Shadyside. We got to be up there Shadyside tomorrow, Wednesday, for Tech to get all the cars through Tech. I shouldn't have any issues with Tech. Honestly, the Cougar was questionable through Tech for a bit of street car because it's never had turn signals on it. After we get all that settled and all that done, I've been playing around with the idea of hosting a race in 25 next year. Would be closer toward the end of the year, I think, maybe this time of year or a little earlier. Well, I'll do what we can. And I'm going to do kind of a budget-minded race for people that don't have a ton of money to race. And I haven't exactly panned out all the rules for it yet. Still working on it, but there's going to be a claimer rule of some kind on the engines. So that basically if somebody wants to buy your engine at the end of the race, it's for sale. That should keep big money out of it, especially if we put the claimer rule small enough, say $2,500, or maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. And we'll do something like all steel, all glass, fiberglass hood's okay. And Russell, we had a good thing figured out for that, and it just didn't work out. This is going to be all steel, all glass, no Lexan, no fiberglass except for the hood. And I think we're going to do stock or stock style suspension. That should keep all the cars in a time that everybody can achieve. And by putting something like a $2,000 or $2,500 claimer on their motor, so that at the end of the race, when it's over, if somebody wants to buy somebody else's motor, they have to sell it to them for that money. So I think that would be something that's doable for everyone, and I think it's something that everyone can enjoy, and it wouldn't be one of those that's just solely for big money. I'm still working on some of the rules for it. I've got some ideas, maybe even possibly putting limits on the motors to things like stock block, um, um, interiors, just some of the things that I think would lend it more to a true street car class. True street cars, not race cars with tags on them. And then we'll do a very minuscule buy-in with uh, a payout for the winner kind of thing, heads up racing. So we don't have to deal with none of that other stuff. Just heads up, go for it racing. And I think it'll work out. I think it's something that'll work. We'll sit down and do some more rules on that after we get the street and yeet over with. I think this is going to be a pretty good time. I have not done the street and yeet before, but I have done drag week 3 times. Actually, I think right there's, oops, it's over here. Everything's backwards when I'm doing this. There it is. There's one of them. I think the others is up here somewhere, but one of them may be down there. But I've done drag week 3 times, and I've always enjoyed it. And I think street and yeet will be a lot of fun, mainly because I think, at its furthest point from me, I'm still only 4 hours from home. So if anything goes wrong, it'll be an easy way to get back home. We've got, when we get back, we're going to have about a week of hard work in the shop to get a couple of customer things done, and then we're going to take that Red Galaxy to Shadyside and make some test passes with the Red Galaxy, and do the best we can to see what that car is capable of, and possibly, it's not my style and it's not my thing, but possibly looking at taking that car and running some bracket races with it next year. Although bracket races are not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm always been a heads up racer. I think we may take it and give it a try and see what we can do with it. Who knows? We'll worry about all that after we get the street and yeet over with. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. I've done drag week every time by myself, and we actually have a co-pilot for street and yeet. So it'll be nice to have a co-pilot in there with us, helping me navigate and getting through everything. Again, if you're in the area of any of those tracks, you're more than welcome to come out and watch some racing. I'm not sure how fast pace the classes will be with them. I don't know how quick they're going to run everybody through. I don't even know how many cars are actually going to be there. I think my ticket number was like 240, but I've seen a lot of people backing out on it too. So I'm not sure how many people are actually going to be there. I've seen some back out. I've seen some looking for tickets to get in. So we'll see how many's going to be there. I figure they sold about 300 tickets for participants. I don't think there'll be 300 cars there, but there should be at least 200 there, I think. Maybe more. And I don't know how many's in each class. I think Dial Your Own is the largest class, I think. I do think the stick is probably one of the smaller classes. Maybe even the what they call it, Yeet Street or something may even be a small class as well. So we'll see. There's 7 classes that they're running. Let me look and see what those 7 classes are. They have a Dial Your Own. They have the stick, Tiny Tire daily tailgates, limited and unlimited. I think the tailgates are new for this year, and I think that's going to take off. I mean, I think these guys that have the trucks are really looking forward to that. The Tiny Tire stuff is actually something I'm interested in just sitting down and watching. Um, I never paid those cars any attention, and then I started seeing some of the numbers. There's some of those Tiny Tire cars running 4 second passes. And I think to be eligible for Tiny Tire, you have to run a 26-inch tire or smaller. And that's insane. Um, what's going on, man? Um, so I'm interested in sitting back and watching some of the Tiny Tire cars racing with the way we're set up. So uh, Stick will run six. The Tiny Tire is actually running third. So we should be able to get in the run order, especially on the first day, I think. So we should be able to sit back and watch some of the Tiny Tire racing. It very much intrigues me just because of how fast those guys are going on little bitty tires. For years, we always thought you had to have a big tire, a massive tire, to go fast, and these guys are going insane speeds into the low fours with 26-inch tires. So it's incredible to watch them. 26-inch tire tonight. Curious how he does. Yeah. Let us know. I'm interested too. My buddy, he had 28s on his car, and he dropped them and went to a 26 just to run that Tiny Tire class. It'll be interesting to see how fast that car runs on a Tiny Tire. I can't even. I mean, I get mad when I have to run a 28. I like running 29 fives. And in some parts of the country, that's a small tire. Other parts, 28's a small tire. So I like running 29.5, and I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine going to a 26. Both the Galaxies, I believe, are on 29.5s, and it's just it's insane to think how fast they're going on 26s. I think. Well, hold on, I can look it up and tell you exactly what they done last year on the 26s. Um, it's mind blowing. I can I mean I'm in shock over how fast they're going on those little tires. 23 results. This is stick class limited, limited. Dial your own daily. Tiny Tire. Um, so Tiny Tire, they ran the fastest guy ran a four. It looks like a 4:32. And then there was a 4:95, 5:13. No, 5:10. No, I'm sorry, 5:05, 5:10, uh, 5:50 on Tiny Tire last year. So yeah, they're running what I say mid fours on a 26-inch tire. It's insane. That was something that for a long time you had to have a big tire to even consider putting that much power to the ground. So I'm interested in watching them. That should be a super fun class to watch, especially if there's some big cars out there with a little tire on it, like a skateboard wheel on the back of them. That just would be amusing to me. But I imagine most of them are going to be little Mustangs, Falcons, and just things of that nature that don't fit a big tire real well. First gen Mustangs, they would be great with a tiny tire. The Falcons, they would fit a tiny tire real well. Even something like Mavericks, Comets, uh, what's the Pintos, something, any of those things. I think with a tiny tire would be what you would expect to see. It'll be interesting to see what shows up with a tiny tire. Maybe even, well, I don't think you'll see many trucks in that. Maybe you will if it's something like a Love or S10 Ford Ranger. I expect to see them all in the tailgate class, which is another class that I'm highly interested in, considering I do have a truck back there that eventually I need to get together. And then, as I said, when we get done with all that, come home, get some work caught up in the shop, put out some videos, and then we'll get that Red Galaxy out and get some testing done on it. I've got a couple of engines that's got to get finished the week I get home. A Pontiac motor that I started forever ago, and between machine shops and waiting on parts and different things, it's just been dragging out. And then I got an FE that I got to finish that I actually have all the parts for. I just got to get it together. So yeah, we got some work doing some videos to make. I know a lot of y'all started watching me when I was doing a lot of FE content. I need to get back to that FE content. And then after that, I suppose it's going to be just preparing for things for next season. Getting our tentative. Getting a tentative list together of races we want to make next season. I think there's a flashlight no prep race they do at Ware Shoals, which is a track near me. They do 3 or 4 of those a year, and I think we're going to definitely try to hit all of those. I'm hoping that the No Name Nationals and Drag Week are not at the same time next year. They were this year, and I went to No Name Nationals instead of Drag Week. I would like to do both this year, but it all depends on what dates conflict with what as to what I get to do. So anywho, I just wanted to do a Tuesday night live. I figure this would be a great night for it. It would be something other than politics to watch, because they're going to take over TV for the evening, probably starting in about a half hour or so when polls start closing, and then that's going to be all you hear till tomorrow sometime, or probably even the next day or two. So I figured we'd do something besides that tonight. Trying to think if there's anything else I have coming that might interest people. I want to do a little. I want to do some upgrades on the ramp truck, so we'll make some videos on that. Just not anything drastic. There's just a few little spots on it that need to be fixed, and touch up some pieces on it, and just a few little things. And I think everybody kind of likes seeing videos on that thing anyway, so we'll do those. And hopefully at some point in time next year, we'll get started on that 67 F100. That's one that I'm really looking forward to doing. I've got to come up with a direction I want to go in it. So we'll figure those things out. But tonight is about racing. And as I said, we got to get this street meet over with. And then I want to try to promote and put on that budget race at some point in time next year. See if we can get some people involved in that. And other than that, I want to do those flashlight frenzy races at Ware Shoals. I want to do another drive and drag, or maybe 2 next year. Outside of that, it's going to be probably playing it by ear a lot. Whatever pops up that weekend that we can go to. I think the Galaxy is going to end up on nitrous with this new motor. I think it's going to be in a nitrous motor. The white Galaxy that I've had forever. I think we're finally going to go nitrous on that car. And that car is probably going to turn into just a no prep car. Street style race car. It tends to support that car a lot better. The Red Galaxy, I'd like to run it in a few bracket races, but I'm not a bracket race kind of guy, so I don't know how well I'll do with that, but I'd like to try that, just try my hand at something new. I'm kind of a heads up guy. Actually, I'm heads up first to the finish line. I like a pro tree, and I don't really care for people showing times when we do that. I prefer no time events. I think I've about covered everything that I was going to talk about, that I had planned to talk about. I will try to do daily videos of some kind from Street Yeet. They may be a couple of days of shorts and then a long video go up, and then a couple of days of shorts, and then at the end of it, a long video go up. Or I may try to do a video every other day, or something. But I'm gonna try to put something out there for everybody to follow every day, whether it be a short or something. So look forward to that. If you have not hit the little bell or whatever that thing is, hit that, and you'll be able to follow along with that. Also, there is a membership opportunity on the channel somewhere down through there. There's the tab if you want to join a members only, and we'll do some special stuff for that as well. Also, there is a Fourth Wall shop coming soon. I'm having trouble getting it to link to the YouTube, but it will be coming soon. The Fourth Wall shop's already up. It's just some reason not linking to the YouTube. And there's a bunch of merchandise on there. If anybody wants any merchandise. Anybody got any questions or anything they want to talk about? Steer this conversation in a different direction or anything. After Street Yeet is over, at some point in time, we have reached out and we're going to do a rebuild on that C4, and I'm going to try to cover it on the channel. I've never rebuilt an automatic. I've done a bunch of manuals, but I've never rebuilt an automatic. And reached out to a buddy, and he said he would be happy to walk me through it at his shop, and we'll do it together, and we'll video it for the channel. So if anybody's interested in how automatics work, there will be a video coming on that. I know I've done some videos on the 4-speeds and stuff, and I love 4-speeds, but I've never even seen the inside of an automatic, short of changing the filter. I've never seen the inside of one. So I reached out to him and said, look, if I buy all the parts, would you be willing to walk me through it and show me how to build one, stand over my shoulder and tell me what to do or whatever, so that I have an idea of how autos work? And he was all about it. So yeah, Russ, I've heard that the 3-speeds, like the C4s and stuff, are not difficult. But again, I've never seen the inside of them, but I do agree it's a good skill to have. I've heard that there's not a much difference as far as how they're rebuilt between the C4 and the C6. It's very similar as far as the process goes. So I think if I learn how to do the C4, that I would be able to do a C6. And seeing as how mostly all I fool with is older Fords, I'm pretty much only going to see in an automatic a C4 or C6. That's about all I'm going to see. So I learned that skill. It'll be something good to learn. I've tore down many manual transmissions and went through them, and they're pretty simple, pretty easy to deal with. So I don't think I'll have any problems with that. So once I learn the process of a C4 and have that under my belt, then I think any transmission I ever deal with, I would have the skill set to do them. We may, at some point between now and next year, I'm kind of thinking, so if we go back to the No Name Nationals again in 25, part of me wants to take the Galaxy because I didn't take it this year. But I also kind of want to finish up at 67. So I may try to build that 67 to take to No Name Nationals next year. I'm not sure yet. That may be something that I build just for that event. I don't know. There were a few trucks up there, but it wasn't a massive amount of trucks. So I always kind of like to do something a little different than what everybody else is doing. Although trucks seem to be popular right now, so I don't know. Um, we just done a video, if you haven't seen it, where we done a some work on that 64, getting it ready for testing when we get back. Um, so that's out there. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here for a little while and kind of update everybody of what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks and talk about a little bit of racing. Um, well, Russell, you brought something that run the Mustang run. You drove it from Tennessee to Missouri. I mean, that's about as. I mean that's pretty much the definition of running. And then it drove from Missouri all the way back to Tennessee. So it ran. um, it actually ran pretty good, I thought. I mean it was getting along down the road. Um, I want to, right? Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, I would like to bring a true street car, something I could drive from home up there and compete and drive home. Um, my original plans last year were to, uh, put the Galaxy on the back of the ramp truck and do it that way. But that freaking ramp truck, I love it to death. It's one of my favorite vehicles I own. But hauling a car at best, it gets 8 miles to the gallon, and I just don't want to drive from South Carolina to Missouri with 8 miles to the gallon. So I want to build something that I can drive uh, up there, run, and then bring home. Now, well, hey JB, um, now driving from South Carolina to Missouri is not necessarily the difficult part. Um, and building something that'll go fast down the track is not the difficult part. The difficult part is to build something that will drive from South Carolina to Missouri, go fast down the track, and then be able to drive back home. Uh, I've taken a bunch to a track that didn't drive back home, so I want to do something a little different for the No Name Nationals next year, and I'm not sure what it is yet. Right now, my leading thought is to uh, build that 67 F100 for it. Although, as I'm sitting here talking about it, it might would be fun to bring the little Cougar too, especially if after we get done with this driving drag, we come home and we build a transmission in it. Um, it should be a pretty solid car. It shouldn't have any problems. Uh, so there's a chance maybe we take it. Um, I don't know yet. I really don't know what I want to take. Um, I kind of like the idea of bringing a truck. I know a lot of people want to see the Galaxy up there and want to see the Galaxy run, but I'm not sure yet. Um, possibly. You want to see some videos on the F100? They will be coming because they'll be on the channel when I build it. If you go back, gosh, I don't even know now, 4 or 5 months on my channel, you'll see where we went and picked up. We bought a collection out from a guy, his father had passed, and we bought 2 F100s and everything he had in his garage and piled it up. And we had trucks and trailers and all kind of stuff getting home. And um, we had trucks, trailers, and everything full. We actually made 2 trips down there with a pickup truck and the ramp truck. We had motors and grills, all kind of stuff. I bought all that stuff to get that 67 F100 shell because the 67 F100 was my first truck, and I've kind of been looking for one ever since. But so now I've got to decide what I want to do with the truck now that I got it. My knee jerk reaction was to build the truck that I had when I was, what was I, 18, 19 years old when I had that truck. And my first knee jerk reaction was to build that truck again. But, you kind of think, well, I could do this and I could do that. So it'll be interesting to see how that truck actually ends up, because I don't even know how it's going to end up yet. That's one reason it's been kind of on the back burner. I've got other stuff in front of it I need to get done, but also at the same time, I kind of got to figure out what I want to do to it. JB will be taking the same thing. A trash truck hopefully runs a little faster. Brandon Galaxy, I'd like to call you out. You know what? I almost have this weird, crazy thought of finishing the F100, because the Galaxy, it just needs a few little things and it's done. So it's going to be finished over winter and make some test passes. So I've almost had the idea of finishing the F100, getting it done, ready to go, and then get a trailer, put the Galaxy on a trailer and tow it up there with the F100, and then I could make passes in the truck and the Galaxy both. But that might be being a little ambitious. I mean, so, but you never know. There's a possibility. I said when I left, I was bringing the Galaxy back next year, but, and I probably should, because a lot of people had asked about that car. So I should probably just bring it and, stick with that. Just stick with it and just, do it. I should just stick with it and, put it on a ramp truck and have the ramp truck in the Galaxy, because at the end of the day, that would be cool. And not only would it look cool, I think it would be, I think it would be an eye catcher to drive the ramp truck to Lambert's with the Galaxy on the back of it. That would probably look kind of cool too. And then, race the Galaxy while we're up there. I've been trying to talk John into doing a stick shift class that's heads up, but he's not into the heads up stuff, I don't think. My grandfather's record was a 67 F100 4x4, 390, 4-speed. Used that truck from 67 to 91. That's awesome. I would actually like to see, man, a 67 4-wheel drive 394. So the funny thing is, I've toyed with the idea of making that 67 a 4-wheel drive. The one I had when I was a kid was 2-wheel drive, and this one technically, this one is a 2-wheel drive, but I've toyed with the idea of making it a 4-wheel drive, and doing it kind of that 70s, late 70s style, where it had the 15-inch wheels on it, but like the 32-inch tires, the chrome roll bar in the bed, that kind of thing, and just have the round KC daylighters up on the roll bar, and kind of have that look of the trucks that I remember from back in the day. But I mean, everything doesn't need to be a race car, so I don't necessarily have to make a fast truck. I mean, I've got cars, so part of me has played with the idea of making it a 4-wheel drive. 33s on 15-inch wagon wheels. See, that's the look right there. I was thinking 32s, but 33s either one on the old white wagon wheels. I mean, that had the little like red and blue pinstripe around the outside of the rim. Yeah, that's the look I remember from when I was a kid. And then they had the roll bar in the bed and the gun rack in the back window. You know what I mean? So I kind of secretly, I kind of want to do that. I just don't know. I can't quite convince myself yet. 63 Belvedere, 76 Power Wagon. Yeah, I like heads up racing. I know it's not for everybody, but at a certain level, everybody's equal anyway. Um, Stick shift racing, I believe, is more fun heads up because unless you're really a stick shift racer, there's so many things that can go wrong trying to do everything yourself going down the track that I think it's the great equalizer. Um, everybody's their own. I generally, every time I go race, I generally race heads up, uh, pro tree, uh, and stick shift. That's kind of my bread and butter there. I have been playing a little bit with an automatic lately. Uh, Kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not sure what to do with my hands in an automatic. I mean, so, but I have been playing around with it a little bit. Um, but I think, I think, yeah, I've kind of talked myself into it. We do No Name Nationals next year, which is the plan. I think we'll bring the Galaxy. I think we'll bring the White Galaxy up. Well, a lot of people wanted to see that. Holler vintage cars, dirt truck, 79 250 ramp truck next year. Definitely. So my ramp truck, if you haven't seen the videos of it, my ramp truck's actually a 77 F350 ramp truck. Uh, that it has the somebody had swapped out the 460 in it. Um, so no, I have not raced with the pucker time. I have I have seen that car though, but not at the track. I'm trying to think of where I've seen it at. I think maybe we might have done a car show or something together. I have not seen that car at the track. Um, if you go back on my channel, I raced for 6 years with the Southeast Gassers. I left in November of last year, and I didn't race with them this year. I kind of just moved on at the end of last year and kind of started doing my own thing after that. Uh, A7 GMC Jimmy on 32s, Krager truck wheels, blue and white. That's actually kind of cool. Um, yeah, that's definitely cool. Dragon run, they also run. Oh, they run it in the Southeast Gassers, huh? Maybe I did see them in a race then. Gosh, maybe I did. Um, and I tell you, Southeast Gassers, I absolutely enjoyed the time with them. But once the race starts, they run you through so fast that you ain't hardly got time to go to the bathroom, and you get back to the car and hey, it's time to go down on the staging lanes. And I think I put an electric water pump, and electric fan on my car, and once the race started, I don't think it turned off to the end of the night, just trying to keep the car cooled down. Um, you know what? I do remember. I was thinking about a different car, Brock Blue 55. Yeah, I was thinking about a different car. There is another car out there. I think I was thinking of the Sucker Punch car, not Pucker Time. I do know the Pucker Time car. I do know them. Or know that car. I don't think I ever got to hang out with them, but I do know them. I was thinking about the wrong car. Excuse me. Um, but hang on a minute, getting messages. Want to build a 63. Let's see, 4 speed to run one day. Um, I love the 63 Galaxies, and you know the thing about it is the Galaxies. You could uh I don't know, 10 years ago you could buy one of those things for $800,000, and Recently I've seen rusted out bodies, people wanting $5,000 for them. So they've gotten so expensive now that I got lucky and bought mine at the right time. Uh, and Bigfoot's Mopars, thank you. I'm a big fan of that ramp truck, and Legacy looks right at home on the back of that thing too. Um, that has been one of my best purchases ever. That has been one of my best purchases ever. That ramp truck. I am so thankful I managed to get my hands on that truck. We drove that truck for Bruce. He won't let you. A lot of the gasser groups won't let you run Caltrax, um, especially if they're period correct type things, because Caltrax wasn't around back then. About the only thing you could run would be a sliper bar. Now you can go to ladder bars with a lot of them, but no Caltrax because they wasn't around back then. Um, and that was one of the things with. That's the reason the Galaxy Legacy is set up like it is. Um, I'm going to try to get one of my tracks. Say hi, Lancaster County. Uh, Lancaster County. I'm in South Carolina as well. I guess you've seen that on the channel. I'm up in Anderson County. I'm near the Georgia line up here. Um, I think I'd have to look at the route. I think this driving drag might be taking us through there. Is it? I'll have to look. I think the drag and drive might be taking us through the Lancaster area. I'd have to look. I don't really remember without looking at it. Um, yeah, I can't really remember. Using water to remove carbon buildup. Uh, so that video is my most popular video, and I think people just watch it to see if it's going to blow up. I don't think they're actually watching it for the information. That's just one of those old school tricks people did back in the day. And with modern fuels and uh, the way things are done now, that you really don't build up carbon like you used to. But it was a trick I've seen my daddy and older folks. I've seen them do that a bunch, and it absolutely works. Now you have to go kind of slow, and the engine needs to be hot because really it's the steam kind of effect that really does it. Basically, steam cleaning everything, and uh, it's one of those videos where it's a great divide. There's people on there going, "Yeah, we've done that for years," and other people going on there, "That will never work. You'll blow the motor up." And honestly, it's just one of those uh, things that get forgotten. Yeah, yeah. Have a great night, and hope we'll see you and chat again. Um, but as I got sidetracked there. I was talking to Bigfoots and Mopars. Yeah, they won't let you run due to Caltrax, and that's the reason the my White Galaxy Legacy is set up the way it is because it was set up period correct to 67, and they didn't have Caltrax and things back then, so it's set up with sliper bars on it and just things that made it period correct to the time. Now my sliper bars are on there. Uh, have been modified. I won't lie about it. I stretched the rules a little bit with those. It's not in writing, so it's not breaking them, but the rubber snubbers on mine are not. And mine are set up so they're adjustable and I can preload one side and things of that nature. So they work very similar to a cow track, but they don't look like it. They look well, and they are slapper bars. They're actually real slapper bars from the '60s. I got them from the guy I got the car from. I've just modified them a lot, and they work extremely well. That car Legacy will pull the front tires knee high off the ground when you launch it. It doesn't spin on the launch anymore. It'll pick the front tires up, carry them out there, just level out and sit down, and just roll. And it works extremely well. And pour a little fluid down the carb to get rid of carbon smoke. So a lot of the excuse me, a lot of the old timers when I was growing up would use transmission fluid. They didn't use it to remove carbon, though. I mean, I'm not saying it won't, but that's not the reason they used it as much. Now, transmission fluid is a natural detergent, so it will clean the inside, but it also has a lubricant in it, so it would help with like stuck rings if there's some rings stuck in there, or if you had a sticky valve or things like that. The transmission fluid really shines in that. Now, that's what it's really there for. The byproduct of that is because it is a detergent. It does clean some in there as well, but it does more lubricating of that nature. Now, I've seen a lot of the old timers use both. They'll use the transmission fluid first to lube everything up, and then they'll go back and use a little dab of water to steam out the transmission fluid. I think that's redundant. I don't think you need to use both. But growing up, I've seen a lot of people do that. And let's be honest about it, a lot of the old timers did stuff that worked, but the knowledge level was different then than it is now. So a lot of the stuff they did it because they seen it work. They just didn't understand why it worked. They just knew it worked. And throughout technology, we began to understand more about different things. Slapper bars set up right will work just as good as Caltrans. Absolutely, Russell. When slapper bars are set up correctly, they do work. I think a lot of people don't really understand how to set them up, and they see pictures of them mounted or whatever, and they think all you do is just bolt them under there and drive, and that's the way they work. But slapper bars, that's just part of your tuning for your car. You can really dial suspension in with slapper bars um, amazingly. I mean, you can really make a car dial in. You can actually, with proper adjustment on a slapper bar, you can actually pretty much add rear steer to it. You can make it kind of twist a certain way and straighten the car out. My car used to go left a little bit on the launch, and I actually correct it with the slapper bars. But by the way, I preloaded, set up my slapper bars. You're right. It's Dizzy. You're right. It's farm stuff. I mean, um, I grew up on a farm, so a lot of the stuff I've learned is farm stuff. It's the stuff that um, we didn't have any money or any where we could take anything, or no means to take anything places. So we learned how to make things stay alive. Gain more from a set of sliders and good adjustable rear shocks. So Russell, I actually run all that on the Galaxy. The Galaxy has adjustable shocks. It has sliders on the back, uh, and it has slapper bars on it. So I kind of have a very tunable suspension that is still leaf sprung, and that has actually given me the edge a lot because you know how many times I've pulled up somewhere at a local event and they go, "Man, it's a leaf spring slapper bar car. We know that thing ain't fast," and then they kind of get their feelings hurt a little bit because uh, it runs and that suspension really works. And it's just because I've made that suspension so tunable. You can also put adjustable a front hanger on there, so you can kind of reset the pinion angle by the way you move it, and set the ride height a little bit if you move the front up and down, and then you have the slapper bars on the rear, uh, and then a little trick set of slapper bars and the sliders and adjustable shocks. I could do a whole video on uh, just how to take stock stock leaf spring car and make that car absolutely just roll. I mean, the Galaxy's a 4-speed car. It's got more in it than what I've run it, and we've done 150, 60 foots with the wheels in the air, and that was back with the small motor in it with a 390. And I'm running 462 in it now, back with a 390 in it. We ran a 150, 60 foot with the front wheels in the air and ran a 760 eighth mile, and it was at least spring slapper bars, and they will absolutely work. With that big motor in it now, it better be faster than that. There's a lot in that big motor, so it better work better than that. And I know that's something I'm going to have to go back and tweak a little bit to that rear suspension and make it work. But the suspension's a dance. You've got to, in order to get the rear to work the way it's supposed to, the front has to work the way it's supposed to as well. And good springs, shocks, and all on the front to go along with that is the proper dance. And once you get that thing working, it's a night and day animal. When I first started with that Galaxy, I used to tell people it was a violent bitch on the launch. I mean, you felt like you'd been on a bull ride when you got out of that car. You were sweating, you were tired, and it was just so violent when it launched. Now that car is faster 60 foot, faster overall. I launch it at a higher RPM, and it's just smooth. It just silky butter comes up, settles out, and goes down. And you could drive it with one finger on the wheel from launch to the traps, and it's all in suspension tuning. None of it was engine stuff. That and the proper clutch, so you can adjust the clamping force on the clutch. Henry County, Tennessee. Yep. I'm pretty sure I've been through there. Hopefully you didn't get damaged too bad by those storms. Not the way the northern part of the Carolinas, the western Carolinas, and South Carolina, North Carolina did. And I know some of it came up into Tennessee. Hopefully you didn't get damaged too much by those storms. Those storms was rough. It's come through. Everything's still not cleaned up around here. It's cut up and piled up, but not cleaned up, if you know what I mean. I don't think I missed anything in the chat. Don't believe so. I need to stiffen up the rear of the Cougar a little bit, and I have a set of old bolt-on ladder bars from the 60s. They're the real thing. I may give them a try and put them on and run them a little while on there just to see what it does on that Cougar. I know it'll improve it, but they're not as adjustable as I like to have stuff. I like some movement in stuff to get it dialed in the way I want it. I think I've missed anything. Appreciate it, Russell. I like that Cougar too. That Cougar, me and that Cougar have a love-hate relationship. I get whatever the issue is, I get it just dialed in, and it'll give me another issue, just like getting ready for this driving drag. I went through, tuned her out. She was running slick as a button. Added a nitrous kit to it. Now I have not hit the nitrous button on it yet, or have not turned the nitrous on it yet. But added nitrous to it. We're driving it around. We're doing some motor pulls on it, and then the transmission decides to start having issues on me. So me and the Cougar have a love-hate relationship. Every time I think she's dialed in and ready to go, it gives me a tilt. 23 we took it on Power Tour, and it's only maybe 2 hours from here to Atlanta. And the first leg of it was from Atlanta to Columbia, which goes right by the house. We left Atlanta, and I got back to my house. It was about 10 hours from just issue after issue on the road and trying to fix it on the side of the road. So I really like that car, and I really dig that car, and I want to do more with that car. But it's just that thing fights me every single turn. So yeah, I wanna do more with it, but I I need to it needs to be put through its paces hard, and see if we can't figure out what's next on it. All right. Well, I'll keep you guys on here for about an hour tonight. Hey, if anybody on here has not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do that. It does help. We've got a long week, and the extra revenue from subscribers really helps. I think we're going to do pretty good. I'm catching a little flack from some people about taking a modern car. But I'm going to enjoy it no matter what. I actually had somebody say they was going to unsubscribe to me because I put a modern car on the channel. But I mean, I got to have something for everybody. So, I got to have something for everybody. So, we're taking it anyway, and we're going to make content, and we're going to enjoy the drive and drag. So, I will keep you guys. I appreciate it, Dizzy. I'm going to keep you guys updated on the drive and drag. Like I said, I'll try to do at least shorts every day and try to do maybe a long content video every other day or something along those lines, depending on how much racing goes on, if we get rained out or not. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me for a little while tonight. And guys, we'll see you down the road as we get these things rolling and going on. So we'll see you guys. I appreciate y'all.